Be me, 32-year-old female, high school English teacher, master's degree in education from a top university, idealistic, passionate, believe that public education is the bedrock of democracy, the great equalizer that gives every kid a shot at the American dream. Work at a well-funded suburban high school, tablets for every student, maker spaces, mindfulness lounges, the whole progressive package. Always prided myself on connecting with students, fostering safe spaces and inclusive environments. Love the job. But lately, something feels off. A creeping wrongness I can't quite articulate. Start noticing patterns during the end-of-year grading. Pull up the honor roll list. 85% female. Look at the student council. All girls. Look at the club presidents. Debate, drama, yearbook, environmental club. All run by girls. Valedictorian and salutatorian for the last 5 years. Girls. Then I look at the disciplinary list. Suspensions, detentions, expulsions, special education referrals. 90% boys. It's a stark divide. Two completely different populations living in the same building. One thriving, one dying. Mention this observation in the faculty lounge, sitting with 3 other female teachers. Have you guys noticed the boys are completely checking out? Expect a serious pedagogical discussion. Instead, get eye rolls and sighs. They're just so immature, says the biology teacher. I can't get them to sit still for 5 minutes. They just want to disrupt. It's video games, says the history teacher. Their attention spans are fried. It's toxic masculinity, says the art teacher. They think caring about school is gay. They refuse to engage emotionally. The consensus is clear. The problem is the boys. The boys are defective. The school is fine. The curriculum is fine. If the boys are failing, it's because they refuse to adapt to the system. I nod along, but the knot in my stomach tightens. Decide to pay closer attention to my own classes. AP English Literature. The room is 70% girls. The few boys there sit in the back, hoodies up, shoulders hunched. They never raise their hands. When I call on them, they give one-word answers. They look like they are waiting for a bus in the rain, just enduring the passage of time. Assign a creative writing project. Write about a moment of intense emotion. The girls turn in beautiful, flowery prose about anxiety, friendship, body image. They get as. They know exactly what I want. They know the vocabulary of vulnerability. One boy, Tyler, turns in a story about a soldier in a trench. It's violent, gritty, describes the sound of bones breaking, the fear of death. It's visceral and well-written, but it makes me uncomfortable. It feels aggressive. My instinct is to mark it down, to send him to the guidance counselor. Is he disturbed? Is he a threat? I pause. Reread the story. It's not a threat. It's a war story. It's about courage and sacrifice. Why does male storytelling trigger a danger response in me? Realize? I've been conditioned to view male interests as pathology. If it's not about feelings and relationships, it's problematic. Give Tyler an A. Write a note. Powerful imagery. The next day, Tyler stays after class. Looks at the floor. Thanks for the grade, miss. Usually teachers tell me my writing is too dark. They tell me to write about something nicer. I don't want to write about flowers, miss. I want to write about struggle. Strikes a chord. We have removed struggle from the curriculum. We have sanitized education. Everything is group work. Collaboration. There are no wrong answers. Process over product. This environment is designed perfectly for the female temperament. Verbal, agreeable, conscientious, sedentary. It is torture for the male temperament. Competitive, hierarchical, active, objective. Decide to investigate further. Seek out Mr. Henderson, one of the few male teachers left in the building. Teach remedial history and coaches wrestling. 50-year-old guy. Keeps his head down. Never speaks at faculty meetings. Find him in the boiler room taking a coffee break. Ask him if he has a minute. He looks guarded. What's up? Did one of my wrestlers break something? No, I say. I want to talk about the boys. I feel like we're failing them. He looks at me for a long time, assessing if I'm a trap. Finally, he sighs. You want the truth or the administration line? The truth. Meet me at O'Reilly's after last bell. Not here. Go to the bar. Henderson is there with the shop teacher, Mike, and the physics teacher, Dave. The old guard. I sit down. Buy a round. So, Henderson starts. You notice the graveyard. The graveyard? The back of the classroom, where the boys go to die. He takes a drink. School used to be different, he says. We used to have competition, winners and losers. We used to have vocational tracks. We used to let them run around at recess and beat the hell out of each other to burn off energy. Now, recess is 5 minutes of structured play. Dodgeball is banned because it's exclusionary. Vocational classes were cut to buy more iPads. Everything is subjective grading. Rubrics based on effort and participation. Who participates? Girls. Who raises their hand to please the teacher? Girls. Boys don't care about pleasing you. They care about winning, and if there is no way to win, they quit. Mike, the shop teacher, chimes in. I have kids who can rebuild a transmission. Genuinely brilliant mechanics. They are failing math because they don't journal about how the problem made them feel. They are failing English because they don't want to analyze the gender dynamics of a YA novel. So the school calls them stupid. They put them in remedial classes. They drug them. Ritalin, Adderall, Vyvanse. If a boy has natural energy, we call it ADHD. We drug the boyhood out of them to make them behave like girls. Sit down. Shut up. Listen. Repeat. It's a compliance factory. Dave, the physics teacher, pulls out his phone. Look at the college stats. 60% female, 40% male. The gap is widening every year. In 10 years, it'll be 70/30ths. Universities are becoming finishing schools for women. And the men? They are retreating. Video games, crypto, the gig economy, mom's basement. They aren't checking out because they are lazy. They are checking out because the ROI of society is negative for them. Why play a game where the rules are rigged against you? Why work hard to get into a college that openly discriminates against you in admissions? Why enter a corporate world that forces you to sit through seminars about how evil you are? They are going galt. At age 16, listen to them. It sounds paranoid. But then I think about the equity assembly we had last week. Guest speakers spoke for an hour about toxic masculinity, told 500 teenage boys that their instincts were wrong, that their desire to compete was toxic, that their silence was violence, that they need to do the work to unlearn their privilege. I watched the boys' faces during that assembly. They weren't angry, they were bored and defeated. They were being scolded for existing. Meanwhile, the girls were cheered. The future is female. Girl boss. We tell the girls they can do anything. We tell the boys they are the problem. And we wonder why the boys are depressed. Suicide rates for young men are skyrocketing, 4x higher than women. Mention this to the group. Henderson nods grimly. Nobody cares. If girls were failing at this rate, it would be a national emergency. Congress would pass acts, billions in funding. But since it's boys, silence. Actually, worse than silence. Celebration. They see it as correcting the balance, retribution for history. Your female colleagues don't want to help the boys. They want to punish them. I recoil. That's not true. We're teachers. We care about all kids. Henderson laughs. Do you, really? Think about the discipline policy. 0 tolerance. Boy pushes another boy in the hall. Suspended. Violence. Girl destroys another girl's reputation on Instagram. Drives her to self-harm. She gets a restorative justice circle. We criminalize male aggression. We excuse female aggression. The boys see the double standard. They know the law doesn't apply equally. So they stop trusting authority. They stop trusting you. Leave the bar feeling sick. Want to prove them wrong. Spend the next week digging into the data myself. It's worse than they said. Read studies on grading bias. Teachers unconsciously give boys lower grades for the exact same answers as girls, penalizing them for handwriting, for fidgeting, for tone. Look at the curriculum changes over the last 20 years. Removal of classic literature, Hemingway, Steinbeck, Orwell, replaced with young adult fiction. focused on emotional interiority, themes of identity and oppression. Books written by women, for women. We have effectively banned books that appeal to young men. Then we complain they don't read. I look at the SAT scores. Boys still outperform on the math section, but grades in math class don't reflect it. Why? Homework completion, notebook organization, participation points. We have weighted the grades to favor conscientiousness over competence. A boy can know the physics, but fail because he lost his worksheet. A girl can struggle with the concepts, but get an A because she turned in everything with color-coded highlighters. We are certifying obedience, not intelligence. Decide to bring this up at the next department head meeting. Prepare a presentation, closing the gender gap, a focus on male achievement. Walk into the conference room. It's me, the principal, female, the vice principal, female, and 5 department heads. 4 female, 1 male, Henderson. I start presenting. Show the graphs, the dropout rates, the medication rates. Suggest some pilot programs. Maybe we can reintroduce competitive debate. Maybe more hands-on technical classes. Maybe we examine our reading lists to include more adventure and conflict-based stories. Maybe we stop penalizing wiggling as a behavioral issue. Silence in the room. The vice principal clears her throat. This is interesting data. But I'm concerned about the framing. We are currently focusing on our STEM initiative for girls. We are trying to dismantle patriarchal structures in the classroom. Reintroducing competition sounds like a step backward. We want to foster a cooperative environment. And honestly, she looks at me over her glasses. It sounds like you are making excuses for bad behavior. Boys need to learn to sit still. They need to learn emotional intelligence. We shouldn't lower our standards to accommodate their lack of maturity. I stare at her. Lower standards? I'm talking about different learning styles. We accommodate every other demographic. If a student has dyslexia, we give them audiobooks. If a student is ESL, we give them translators. But if a student is male, we tell him to stop being male. The principal interjects. Sharp tone. We are not going to center men in this conversation. They have been centered for all of history. Our priority is equity, and equity means lifting up the marginalized. Boys are not marginalized. They are the default. If they are struggling, it's because they are resisting the necessary evolution of society. Next item on the agenda. Look at Henderson. He doesn't look up. He warned me. I am shouting into the void. To them, the failure of boys is a feature, not a bug. It is proof that the future is female is arriving. They are culling the herd. Realize, I can't change the system, but I can change my classroom. Go rogue. Throw out the approved lesson plan. Bring in Lord of the Flies. Bring in the things they carried. Implement a debate tournament. King of the Hill style. Winner takes all. Stop grading on notebook checks. Grade on results. If you get the answer right, you get the points. I don't care if you wrote it on a napkin. The change is electric. The graveyard in the back wakes up. Boys are arguing passionately about ethics in war. They are reading the books. They are staying after class to discuss strategy for the debates. The energy is chaotic, loud, aggressive, and productive. My class average for boys shoots up 15%. The girls? They complain. It's too loud. The boys are being mean during debates. Why can't we just do group posters? Parents call the administration. My daughter feels intimidated in English class. The teacher is allowing a hostile environment. Why are they reading books about war? It's triggering. Called into the principal's office. We've had complaints. You are disrupting the learning environment. You need to return to the approved curriculum. We need to ensure the classroom is a safe space for everyone, especially our female students. If the boys are dominating the conversation, you need to silence them to amplify the girls' voices. Equity. There it is again. Equity means silencing competence to protect feelings. Equity means handicapping the strong to hide the weakness of others. I nod. I understand. I leave the office. I don't go back to the old way, but I go underground. I close the door. I tell the kids, what happens in this room stays in this room. I become a smuggler of masculinity, but I know it's not enough. 1 hour a day can't undo 12 years of conditioning. Watch the senior class graduate. See Tyler. He passed. Barely. He's not going to college. He's joining the Marines. Tells me it's the only place that makes sense to him. They don't care about my feelings there, miss. They just care if I can do the job. He looks relieved. He is fleeing the real world to go to a war zone, because a war zone is more honest than a high school. Talk to my sister on the phone. She's worried about her 6-year-old son. The teacher says he won't sit still during circle time. She thinks he might have ADHD. She wants to start him on medication. I feel a cold rage. Don't do it. What? Get him out. Pull him out of public school. Homeschool him. Find a co-op. Anything. They will destroy him. They will teach him that his energy is a disease. They will drug him until he is a zombie. They will break his spirit before he even hits puberty. She thinks I'm being dramatic. It's just a good school district. No such thing anymore. The institution has turned. It is an antibody reaction. Society is trying to reject masculinity like a virus. And it's working. Look at the young men in their 20s. The lost generation. No careers. No families. No ambition. Just escaping into virtual worlds. We mock them. Call them incels. Man-children. But we built this. We told them from age 5 that they were wrong. We stripped away every environment where they could thrive. We rigged the game and then laughed when they quit playing. I look at my empty classroom, rows of desks, a factory for compliance. I realize Henderson was right. We aren't teachers. We are wardens. And the prisoners are figuring out that the only way to win is to escape. I pack my bag. Turn off the lights. I don't know how much longer I can do this. Being a double agent is exhausting, but someone has to keep the door open. Someone has to tell them they aren't broken, even if the whole world says they are.